Today we're going to see more creative ways to use the TCS34725 sensor with Arduino. We'll set up some projects using an RGB LED and the very popular WS2812B addressable LEDs. Today we'll be using the Arduino Uno R3, a breadboard, the TCS34725 RGB sensor, 3 220 ohm resistors, 2 10k ohm resistors, an RGB LED, a breadboard button, and the WS2812B RGB LED rings. As you can see in this picture, I have the button connected to pin 10 of the Arduino and the RGB LED connected to pins 4, 5, and 6. There are 2 10k resistors connected to the button. One is a pull-up resistor connected to the 3-volt rail on the breadboard, and the other one is for button debounce on pin 10 of the Arduino. The RGB LED has 4 pins, one for ground, red, green, and blue colors. There's a 220 ohm current limiting resistor on each of the red, green, and blue pins. This diagram is split into 2 parts. Here is the diagram for the button, and here is the diagram of the RGB LED connected to the 3 220 ohm resistors. This sets up the button on pin 10 and configures it as an input so that we can start the process of taking a color reading with our sensor. This section initializes the sensor and checks if it's properly connected so that we can take colored readings. Here the sketch reads the state of the button and debounces it to avoid multiple triggers from a single press. It just ensures the actions are only taken when the button's pressed properly. When the button's pressed, this section reads the color values from the sensor and normalizes them, and then uses the RGB LEDs to display the detected color. Let's go ahead and upload our sketch to the Arduino board and try it out. Since I'm holding the camera with one hand, I'm going to go ahead and lay the object directly on the sensor and press the button. It doesn't need to be this close as long as you have adequate lighting for the sensor to detect the color of the object. When I press the button, Arduino pin 9 operates the sensor's onboard LED. You can program this LED to come on so that the sensor can more accurately detect the object in front of it. If your LED is this close to the sensor, the light may interfere with the color reading, resulting in a color that looks not quite like it should. We don't have to just use a breadboard LED, we can use a variety of lights in this project. And I really like the WS2812B LEDs. Now you can use a whole strand of these LEDs, but for this video we're going to use these 6 rings composed of 93 LEDs. Now all I did here was get rid of my breadboard RGB LED and replace it with the WS2812B rings. Now, these LEDs operate at 5 volts, and some data sheets will say that they require an absolute maximum of 60 milliamps per LED, so you want to consider a power supply with sufficient current to safely operate these LEDs without overheating. For these LEDs, I connected the ground pin to both the power supply ground and the ground rail on the breadboard. I connected the VCC pin to the 5-volt power supply, and I connected the data pin of the LEDs to Arduino pin 6. You'll see that this code is similar to what we had before, only we include the Adafruit NeoPixel library so we can control the WS2812B LEDs. We also list our pin definitions, including the number of LEDs that are in our LED ring. In the setup, we set up the button and the LED pins. We initialize the NeoPixel strip and turn off all the LEDs, and then we initialize our color sensor and check for successful connection. And in the loop, we read the button state. If the button is pressed, it turns on the LED to take a colored reading after a delay. Then it prints the raw data to determine the dominant color, whether it's red, green, or blue or unknown. Then it sets all the LEDs to the detected color and then turns off the onboard LED and waits for the next reading. After you upload the code, this is what it's going to look like. You're basically changing it to solid colors. This is going to be a red, green, or blue solid color. If that's not exciting enough for you, we can make it a little more interesting. This sketch is pretty well commented, so I'll just make some brief comments about it. You're going to notice some new variables at the top of the sketch, but you're really going to see the changes here in the loop. After the button press check, you're going to see a color fade in, and once it's faded in, you're going to see sparkles when it's fully on. And then it'll stay on for 3 seconds, and then it'll fade out, and it'll fade back in, and kind of making the LEDs look like they're breathing. Once you upload the code, this is what it looks like. And the sparkles look a lot better in person than over the camera. I think it kind of takes away from it here on the screen, but it does look nice, and it gives a little bit of character to the LEDs rather than just a solid burn. And you can of course speed these up or slow these down according to your own liking, and it doesn't have to be with the ring LEDs. It can be with the long strands as well. And here I'll speed this up for you right here so you can see the breathing LEDs, so to speak. This code will be posted on the Facebook page if you're interested. Thank you for watching, I do appreciate it. Like and subscribe if you're interested in these types of videos, and I'll see you again very soon with another video.